Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to give you 7 rules that everyone should follow to be able to get financial success. So 7 rules that you should be able to follow. So the first rule is save at least 10% of your income. Yes, save at least 10% of your income. Should be more, but at least 10% is a little bit safe because it is going to allow you to be able to at least have a good nest egg as you enter into the future and as you near into the age of retirement. So at least 10%, if more, even better. Remember, the average person only invests or saves 5% of their income. But if you could do 10%, you could double your chances of financial success and stability, even in retirement. So 10% or more of your income, however little you earn, start. However little you earn, start with 10% minimum. More than 50%, oh, you're doing great, wonderful, in fact, marvelous. But if you're able to do at least more than 10%, you are on your way to success in your finances. The other thing is to pay all your credit card in full, all your credit card debts in full. So if you pay all your expenses using credit cards, and when I talk about credit cards, I talk about the cards that you are given where you can be able to access credit facilities, and it is not a debit card that deducts money direct from your bank, but it is a credit or a debt that is extended to you for you to be able to use and to be able to repay. So if you have that, what is called a credit card, pay it off every month before the due date so that you do not pay any interest. In fact, it will be able to help you with your cash flow if you're able to do that and avoid the interest. Again, the other thing is, if this credit card has a lot of expenses related to it, maybe annual expenses, it has a lot of annual maintenance costs, it has a lot of monthly charges, maybe you need to avoid it. You should need to access a card if you have to, which allows you to not incur any additional expenses than you need to. So credit card bills, credit cards got paid in full, because when you do not pay in full and the interest rate on these credit cards is high, you end up paying a lot of money, and if you additionally don't pay it within 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, you become entrapped in debt. Credit card debt is the second worst form of debt that anyone can be able to talk about. I will talk about the worst form of debt in another series about debt. So don't be trapped in interest rates that are going to be high. Pay off your debt within a month and pay it off completely if you have to have credit card debt. Then the other thing is to take advantage of tax advantaged contributions. Every country has contributions towards pension, has contributions towards several other contributions that are tax deductible. So those tax deductible transactions allow you to pay much less tax. In Kenya, it is pension contributions to a company that has been registered by the RBA. So if you have identified which companies and which contributions will be able to lower your taxes, pay as much as you can and be able to reduce as much tax liability as you can. Because remember, for example, in Kenya, if you contribute 20,000 shillings towards your retirement pension, the net effect on your income is only going to be around 70%. So you will only feel a pinch of the money that you receive at the end of the month, net of all these deductions, only 14,000. But the money that is sent towards your pension, towards helping you in your finances, is 20,000. So it's like you're contributing 14,000 for a benefit of 20,000. Do that and enjoy as much as possible, because you'll actually be able to enjoy this thing. The other thing is, if your employer is matching all these contributions and is telling you, I will give as much as you yourself give as much as possible, because you're not only reducing your tax liability, you're also earning extra money that the employer will actually give you if you invest in your own financial future. So take advantage of tax advantage deductions or employer match deductions on their side, because you'll be able to go faster in your financial affairs and be able to flourish even as you enter into retirement. Of course, the other thing is, if you are a novice investor, if you do not have too much knowledge about shares, don't invest in single shares. You either invest in a highly diversified portfolio of shares, or you go for ETFs and index funds. ETF and even index funds help you to be able to diversify across a big variety of shares, and even if one share falls, you are still going to make your money. The worst possible thing that people do is they want to invest a lot of money in the stock market, and then they start looking for the cheapest shares, because their thought is, why should I get 20 shares for say $1,000 per share, while I could be able to get 200,000 shares at say around 10 cents dollars. So that thinking of you want cheap shares so that you can have many shares does not equate any financial value. Actually, it might actually be counterproductive, because these companies that you're investing with cheap shares could actually be doing pretty badly. And then the other problem is you take all your money and invest in one company, and you have all your risk in one egg. A lot of money, a company that is with cheap shares and not being well diversified. If this company fails, all your investment actually fails. I know of people who took all their money and invested in Uchumi. At a point in Uchumi when the share price was going down, but because Uchumi, a big supermarket chain in Kenya then, had so many branches and had so many activities, people felt it is too big to fail, and they took loans and they took monies and invested their money, especially after a foreign director came into the country to be able to take charge of this company, and they suffered financial losses because they took all their money to pay this undervalued to pay these cheap shares of this company, and they took all their money and invested all their money in one company. Diversify, invest in many companies, or at least an ETF that is able to invest on your behalf and have a certain leverage, or being able to invest in many sectors of the economy. So do not take all your money and invest in one company if you're going to invest in shares. So diversify little by little. Many eggs in different baskets are better than one egg in all your money in one egg in one basket. So that is the other thing that you can be able to do. Then the other thing is buy a house or build a house that you can actually afford to. This is a big financial mistake, because people have these grandiose ideas of a wonderful palatial home. You are earning say 100,000 Kenya shillings every single month, can be able to pay rent of say 20,000 shillings, but you want to build a 10 million Kenya shillings house. How? The most you can be able to invest in is a 2 million shillings house. Why are you investing in 10 million? Taking your money, your hard-earned money, and putting into an investment that is not giving you any cash flow. As you invest, think about cash flow. How much money am I getting at the end of the month? How much money am I getting of the month? In fact, in certain places, it is not even worth buying a house or building a house or owning an actual property, because the return on investment on a property, especially a self-owned, self-lived house, might actually be too low compared to other investments, alternative investments that you could be able to invest in and get money and pay rent where you are. So why build big and tie all your money in a way that you cannot earn anything at the end of the day? So don't just build big or build because you feel the grandiose idea of having your own place and your own space. You can invest in small, or you can actually invest and pay rent to someone else and be able to have the financial sense to make good money without tying all your money in a house. Of course, the other thing is to avoid unnecessary debt. I have been a member of a circle in a treasury as a volunteer, as a treasurer, and I have noted there are people who take loans for stupid, let me just call them stupid for lack of a better word, stupid expenses. Somebody takes a loan to be able to buy curtains for their house. How do you take money and invest in curtains for your house? How? These are things you pay for in cash. Another one takes a loan to be able to do a wedding. Why do you take money to invest in a wedding to feed people for one day and be left with financial consequences for years? You know, funny ways of using debt to be able to finance things that are not necessarily necessary. Don't just take loans for the fun of it. I know somebody else who took a loan and usually takes a loan after the previous loan has ended. Why? Because they feel that this institution might actually fail and they might be left with this money. So your intention is to just have money. You're not looking at the financial cost of investing, of taking money and paying all this interest over this period of time for money that you do not necessarily know how you're going to spend this money. This is a recipe for disasters, because this money, when it comes, you end up spending it badly. And let me tell you, if you have no financial capacity to be able to use your salary effectively, who tells you that once you receive this big money in forms of a loan without any plan, that you will spend them wisely? Let us use our brains to make good financial decisions. Of course, the other thing is to keep a good credit score. Ensure that you have kept a good credit score, because when you need the finances to be able to do something, maybe invest in a big project, to be able to invest in a business, you might actually be denied access to debt because of your credit score. If your credit score is bad, it will deny you of getting access to loans. It might give you access to loans that are of very high interest rate, just because you're not a good person to be able to invest in or give money as loans. To ensure that your credit score is good, treat it with the urgency it needs. You can be able to do that quite easily, ensuring that you are paying all your debt obligations on time, ensuring that you are not entrapped in debt that is going to force you to have even a single default, and ensuring that you are checking your credit score so that the creditors do not put funny things on your statement when you have not incurred all these charges or have not taken all these loans. I hope that you are learning. My desire as a person is that you grow financially, you become better in your finances, and you come back with testimonials of how you are achieving financial success. Remember to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and to like this video. Thank you, and enjoy your day.